All right, so at this point, we've completed this ticket for the most part, and we're ready to go in and collect. Right before you go in, you're going to go into your labor, tap on your name. We've already clocked in for dispatched, arrived, so departed. We're going to want to clock out plus 10 minutes to give us a little time to interact with the customer, so we're going to hit the clock plus button. This other button without the plus will just enter in the current time. So if you need to go back in to collect, we're going to hit this button, right, and then save. All right, now we're back at the main screen. So we're going to go in to collect, and the customer obviously knows that we're going to do this. So we're going to go in and go to received. It brings up the received window, and we're going to go to add, and that brings up this window where we can collect cash, check, credit card. We can even do a combination. So whichever one you're doing, you're just going to tap on that and enter in the amount, which is $9.29. Okay. And your swiper goes into the lightning port. And you're going to hit swipe credit card and swiper ready. So you would swipe the credit card. It's going to, which I can actually do. I'll do a penny here. Well, I don't have my credit card. But anyway, you would swipe the credit card. It would say, transaction approved. And once you save it, it's gonna bring you to it's gonna bring you back to this screen. So we're going to want to print the receipt. Go to print down here. This is important when you're doing flat rate. The computer doesn't know what you want to include and exclude from the receipt. So you're mostly going to be concerned with these 4 boxes over here. Tech info, flat rate descriptions, flat rate prices. I always make sure I check the flat rate prices, and I back out the material because there's nothing that really applies to that on the receipt. So I'll have these 3 boxes checked off on every flat rate ticket. And then you have to choose work order or invoice. Work order we don't really use too much. The only difference between the two is work order doesn't include the pricing. So if you were dealing with a landlord tenant or at a business where they didn't want the person who's signing for the job to know how much was being spent, you would use work order. But I have never had to do that, so you're almost always going to use invoice, and then go to build text. All right, you can see that it kind of puts all the information into the right format, and we're going to go to display, and that's going to show the customer what we did. And you can see it's going to show my name and the date that I was here. This next section where it says brand, model, serial, if you remember, that's what we entered in the equipment and resolutions portion of the ticket. The model was a Highline toilet. Here it has a description, replace toilet. A lot of times I'll say I'll write out which room it was in, because you can see it doesn't show up for the equipment information. So I would have written replace toilet in second floor, all bath. Down here is where all your flat rate information is going to come up. So these are the first group of flat rate items are the items that they approved, and it shows you the pricing. And below that, following recommended repairs or options were declined, so that the customer can see, you know, that everything that we did offer them. So you're going to go in and tap on signature. Customer's going to sign. You're going to hit done. Okay, it says thank you. Okay, we're going to go to accept. And that brings you to this screen, which this is actually what the customer is going to see when you email it to them. So I do try to double check these and make sure that, you know, that all the information is correct before I send them. And you can see it's still showing a balance of $9.29 because we didn't collect anything, but typically that would be that would show a zero balance. So everything looks good. So we'll go up here to email print in the top right corner, email document. All right, and you can see there are two emails in here. So you want to make sure that you're sending it to the correct email. So you want to ask the customer that. In this case, I'll just send it to myself. And the way you do that is, if there is an email in here, you want to check the box. And what that's going to do is going to carry the email over to the actual email screen, which you can see right here. All right, and then we're going to go to send. All right, and that basically just sent the receipt to the customer. We can hit close. Right, and once we hit close, it brings us back to the main screen.